your coffee break with me. Come and take your coffee break with me. Come and take your coffee. Come and take your coffee. Come and take your coffee break with me.
So welcome to Coffee Break with Candace. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I have another incredible guest. And as always, I will let her introduce herself and tell us more.
Thank you, Candace, for the opportunity. Hello, everyone. My name is Esther Jacob. I'm based in the United Kingdom, and I'm the founder of a book publishing company called Authentic Worth, which stands for bringing worth back into you through storytelling and book writing. I've also got a YouTube channel, and the content consists of book writing, inspirational talks, and legacy. Thank you very much.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much and welcome. And tell us about your journey to Authentic Worth.
So it actually started in 2014 when I started to write my journal. And I remember saying to myself that with all the things that I went through throughout the process of writing, I knew that the only way I could vent out my thoughts was through pen and paper. So then I transitioned it into a book in 2016 called It's Time to Heal. And around that time, I was made redundant from my part-time retail job in Dorothy Perkins. And it took me roughly 3 years to actually find a full-time job, which I did later on get in late 2016, October, in property. So within those 3 years of 2013, graduating all up to 2016 and finding a job, that's where I felt that I needed to write more. So my first book, It's Time to Heal, is based on my personal experiences that I went through at university and the things that I endured and encountered along the way in terms of not feeling good enough, how to overcome depression, resitting exams as well. That was really difficult for me at the time, having to do my driving license and also balance it with a full-time job. All these things really, I found it really difficult at the time. So I knew that the only way I could release my emotions was to write. And that's when I thought to reconsider checking my blog and also turning it into a book. Initially, I didn't want to become an author. I actually wanted to become an actress. So it's a big difference between acting and book writing. But I knew that writing for me was something that I was very passionate about. And that's when it turned into Authentic Worth 2 years later. So in 2018, I knew that when I wrote my second book, Completion, I knew that it just wasn't enough for me to write 2 books. And within that year of 2018, one of my dear sisters actually passed away. That's one of the reasons as to why I've actually opened up Authentic Worth, to give people the opportunity to share their pain and turn it into purpose. So ideally, Authentic Worth initially was to get people to speak about their stories and to talk about their journeys and the things that they've been through, whether it be in the past, in the present, or what they are going to go through in the future, and to give back hope and inspiration, and more importantly, encouragement and worth to people who feel broken. And I knew for me, one of the greatest ways that I could actually write my book and, overcome the pain of loss was to write. So I want to show you one of my books that I actually wrote for my dear late sister. So this is the book. It's called From Glory to Glory, and her name is Glory, and I named it after her. And this book took about roughly 8 months to write. And it's also on my website, www.authenticworth.com, as well as Amazon as well. And I knew that with this book, it took a lot out of me. There were so many decisions that I made to be where I am today, resigning from a full-time job, going straight into book writing and starting a business from scratch without no support. So I knew that I had to put myself out there to be an inspiration onto others. And I can't tell you it's been easy, Candace, but because I know that there are people out there who are hurting, and I know people even now who are losing loved ones and losing friends and losing family members. And this is why I believe Authentic Worth is here, to give back that inspiration, to let people have a voice. Because at times when we go through pain, we tend to hide it. And that shouldn't be the case. If you know you want to heal and be free, you need to let it out. And that's what I've been able to do. And also with my latest 4th book, The Power of a Forward-Thinking Mindset. This is one of my favorite books to date, and it was written last year in July 2020. And this book really encourages me to keep going forwards and to never look back. There's so many people right now who are struggling with the decision of either going back to their past or being
Sure.
expectant for an unknown future. I'm sure you can relate to that. And there has been times where it can feel easy, uncomfortable, but you can't grow in your comfort zone. And I knew that for me, that was a big decision that I had to make and say, Esther, remember, you're not doing this for you, you're doing this to serve others. I always want to give back solutions to people. And because of my belief in God as well, that also contributes to the fact that, yes, there must be something that I can give out to people that will remind them that they are not alone. And to remind them that what they have within them is so special, is so expensive, is so valuable that they should never hide it. If I didn't talk about my story from all the transitions of my 4 books to this business, I don't believe I'll be where I am today. And it has taken a journey for me, and I'm still looking forward to what is ahead of me. So, yeah, that's Authentic Worth as a whole so far.
How do you, when something is so deeply personal, how do you sit down and write those first words and then continue to write?
Yeah. Wow, that's a very good question. I would just say it just flows. I always think about, let's say okay, you're a business, you're providing a service, you're there to exist to help that customer or that client. You're not there just to exist, you're there to serve. And the key word is the serving. Now, we've got a lot of people that want to be served, but people don't want to serve.
Mm,
Now, I want to serve. And I knew as I write and as I continue writing words, I know that there's something in me that is going to inspire people to be encouraged and be blessed. So I always say to myself, Esther, when you write, write from your heart. Write in a way that people will connect with you so quickly that what they're worried about will not even be an issue for them. Let them feel your honesty and your transparency and your vulnerability and own it. I always say to myself, when I write, I own that situation. I don't allow anyone's voice to come into my ears and say, Esther, do it this way or do it that way. I must be authentic to myself.
mm.
Writing is not easy, but it
No, it's not.
it takes so much of you. But as you continue writing, there's so much joy. There's this sense of freedom, a sense of newness. We're in a new year. People want to start being creative. They don't want to think the way they used to think before. And this is a great opportunity to start, to say, Esther, potential author, potential aspiring author, do something with your life. Write away. Create an audiobook, create a paperback book, create a hardback book, write your thoughts down on paper. Don't hide it in, journal, have a diary, speak to someone. All these can be forms of writing, but you have to own it. And I knew that as I was writing, I had to own everything. And that is literally why I'm doing what I'm doing now with the writing. Yeah.
So I've heard you say a couple times in that response to own it. How do you own it?
I would say you own it just by being your true authentic self. As long as you know your writing ability, you will write according to how you are led. So I don't want to write something that I know I'm not true to, or something that doesn't fit in my category or my caliber. I'll rather write according to what I know will elevate people. So, for example, there are some people that they write just because other people are writing. Oh, let me write a blog post about fashion because it seems like it's very popular. But you're not really a fashionista. Or let me write a book about, yeah,
I love that. You know you're not.
exactly. You just have to be honest with yourself. And for me, my honesty is in encouragement. And I love writing blogs and posts about encouragement. I love writing blog posts and words about about elevation, about motivation, encouragement, things that will really get people out of their comfort zone. I do write, however, in times where people can actually feel a bit uncomfortable for their benefit. So it's
Sure.
not just things that are very easy, but things that will say, look, have you done this? You said you were going to be accountable to writing your book. You said that you were going to write 500 words today. Have you done it? So getting them a bit uncomfortable to make them responsible. That's how I write.
Wow. Has there ever been a project or whether it was a book or something else where it didn't feel authentic, and then you had to, maybe step back and say, okay, let me re-look at this? Have you ever had a challenge like that?
I haven't, to be honest. All of the clients
Wow,
that I've
okay.
worked with so far, yeah. All of the clients I've worked with so far, their stories are very powerful, from property to personal struggles to mental health to children's books and veganism. They've all been really inspiring for me, and they've been very different. So some are fiction books and some are non-fiction books. And I think that's the beauty of it because it's authentic. I'm not expecting it to be just one way, although there are books that I won't publish in terms of horror or sky
Oh, okay.
fiction, but it will be
Sure.
books about, motivation, elevation, non-fiction, personal journeys, memoirs, biographies, things that will really help the community. Because the way I write, I think about the end goal, I think about the future in hand. So when my time is up on earth, I will say, yes, there's something that I've left behind that people will be inspired by, and they'll say, yes, Esther wrote that. Someone like the late someone like the late author Toni Morrison, she left a really
Mm.
big legacy to
Yes,
so many people in the publishing industry, and she's even doing it now. I'm still researching upon her and being very inspired by her. That is legacy, and that is what people are going to remember for life. So that's the legacy I want to leave for Authentic Worth.
that's amazing. So this is interesting too. So I love that you have all these different, genres that you publish, but you said there's some that you won't.
Yeah.
How do these writers find you, and how do you decide whether or not to publish them if they fall within the genre you like to publish?
Yeah, that's a good question. So most of my clients are actually referrals or word of mouth. At times, it's also through posting flyers and my monthly workshops that I do as well. So, through those workshops and through my annual book launches, people do find me, mainly on my social platforms on LinkedIn and Instagram. And in order for me to proceed to find out whether the book is okay to proceed for Authentic Worth Publishing, we would
Sure.
have a one-to-one consultation just to find out more about the author themselves and about the book, the purpose, the vision, the tone, what desire they want in writing their book, why they've decided to write a book. And from there, we can decide on moving on to the next stage, which is the accountability, coaching, and then publishing the book for them. So it is a process. They could ideally do an online course as well. So the online course is also catered for new aspiring authors that don't have any experience in the publishing industry and want to learn about writing a book from start to finish. So we do ideally emphasize on that if they haven't actually written a manuscript yet. But for those who have written a manuscript, we do allow them the opportunity to have a one-to-one consultation with Authentic Worth.
Wow. So have you ever worked with someone who you loved, the ideal for the book, and they've gone through the process, but in terms of the writing itself, it it wasn't there. Like, how do you help those people come to a finished product?
Yeah. So in terms of one person, she went through a really difficult time last year and she had to stop the book. So I decided to encourage her by giving her opportunities to build up her confidence. And that was
Hmm.
through confident coaching. And that's a new service that we've implemented this year. So I've been given the opportunity to help her to manage her mental state, her emotional state, and also her writing abilities as well. So I've had to ask her to add a few things to the poetry book to make it really effective. Because with poetry, it's so simple yet so powerful. And
Yes.
because it's such a small book, it needs to be very effective. So I've mentioned to her that she would need to either add more things into the work, or she would either need to take her time, and when she's ready, that she can get back to me. But because I don't want to leave it too late, I give her opportunities and examples of what she can include. So whether that be information about herself, things that she's been through in the past that has shaped her to be who she is today, and the opportunity to just use her voice to be authentic. And those are the kind of ways that I've helped her so far in getting her book published. But she will be looking to publish it by the end of this year.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love what you're doing. I love that as you go along, like you have already, many things in place for people to be successful, but then you also are adding things to ensure success as well. So, the confident coaching, like, that's just, I mean, that's incredible because there are a lot of people that have a lot of incredible talent, but they do need a little bit more.
And I always encourage my authors and my clients, take your time in writing. I always say to them that a good book or an excellent book is not written in haste. My
Mm,
first book was written 2 years. It took me 2 years to write my first book. And I knew that within those 2 years, what was I healing from? Low self-esteem, depression, anxiety. And it's within those years of brokenness that has shaped me to be who I am. And it's now been a positive reflection onto other authors as well, because they're looking at me and they're saying, wow, how did Esther go from one book to four? I want to start my first book. And when I see people writing first books, I get so happy for them, because it takes a
aw,
lot of strength to come out of your comfort zone, to share about what you've been through. Because not everybody understands the joys of being transparent. Some people are still hidden, they're afraid. They say, no, if I tell my story, I'll be judged. It's okay. Whether you're judged or not, you are still you. And I'll always remind my authors, remember who you are. Do not ever forget who you are. Know where you've come from, know who you are now, and know where you're going. Never forget who you are. It's their story that owns them, not anyone else. And when they can own their story well, that is when other people will be inspired and own their own.
that's so true. Wow, it's just incredibly powerful. And I mean, it's just so evident when I look at you that you are comfortable in your own skin. That in and of itself is a gift that in a lifetime, if you get that, that's amazing. So if you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would say it's really to do with looking within. So there were times where I had to just take time off everything, including social media, friends, family, external noise, and just sit down and have time for me and just say, okay, Esther, what is it that you're good at? What is it that you're not good at? Let's combine the two. Write down your strengths, write down your weaknesses, and work on your weaknesses and improve your strengths. So I knew that taking time off everything, including even my own thoughts, was so beneficial for me. And I said to myself, Esther, if you don't speak life into yourself, no one is going to do it for you. If you don't invest in yourself, if you don't invest in your emotional state, your mental state, your financial state, your spiritual state, you are going to really find it hard to pick yourself back up again. So I would invest in courses, I would invest in workshops, I would invest in preachings, and I would also have the right people at the right time when it
Mm.
came to sources of encouragement. So I had a few friends at the time that would really encourage me and help me to be, to remind me who I am. Even though I know who I am, it's important to have people also to kind of push it out of you and say, Esther, look, don't stop now. You've got a race to run. You've got a purpose to fulfill. And
Yeah.
those were the things that really kept me accountable. I knew that as I woke up every morning, Esther, who can you serve today? It's that servitude spirit in me that kept me becoming who I am. And it's something that I continue to encourage other people with, is that when you wake up, what do you want to achieve? Okay, you've got your goals, you've met them, what next? I always put a comma rather than a full stop, because life doesn't stop when you've reached one goal. Life
Mm.
keeps going. And for me, I knew that as I had to take time to look at myself, I said, Esther, it doesn't stop here. You have to keep going higher and higher, despite all the obstacles that will come your way, because really and truly, they will come. I can't say that everything in life is going to be easy, because if it was easy, I wouldn't be who I am today. I had to grow in adversity. And that adversity enabled me to have time for me, to really look within myself and say, Esther, what are you good at? What are you not good at? And what do you need to do to improve? What can you do? Are you taking the advice and the opinions of people about what they say about you? Sometimes it's so easy to listen to what people say, although there are some things that you must take on board. But for me, I thought, you know what? If this sounds right, I'll go for it. If it doesn't sound right, I'll ignore it. But I will never forget who I am. And that's one thing I really love, is knowing who you are in yourself and feeling good in yourself. As you rightfully said, being confident in your own skin. I was not this confident, but because of my late sister and because of the transition, I
Mm.
knew that I had to pick up myself. I knew that this is not the end. When people leave the earth, it's painful. They think their life is over. But I want people to know that, listen, if you're going through grief, if you're going through loss, know that it is just the beginning of a new life for you. And I knew that this beautiful book in front of me, right here, this beautiful book in front of me, right here, is a new life for me and is new life for many people who are yet to come. Because departure is something that we cannot control. But what can we control? Our mindsets, our emotions, the way we think, the way we consume things. And I knew that I had to do that in the secret place. It's always in the secret place for me that I find out who I am. It's not in what social media says about me. It's not in the number of likes that I have. It's not even about the number of followers, but it's about knowing who I am. And that is who I am today. Yeah.
That's just so powerful. I mean, seriously. Well, how do you balance your time when you're doing so many things the way you're doing them?
Wow, that's a good question. I actually do have a diary and I tend to be a bit strict, like, okay, Esther, it's 12 o'clock, stop. It's 1
I
o'clock,
love it.
2
Stop.
o'clock, go back to work. Yeah, I'm very, very, very timely. And I make sure that I do set a timetable for the day. I try not to do too much, if I'm honest with you, just because I don't want to give myself too much overload and, working too much. But if I can do like 2 main tasks a day, whether it's to read a manuscript for 3 hours and then listen to a sermon or read a book for another 1 hour, then I know that I've split my day very well. And also having me time too, looking after myself. You know that self-care is very important.
Yes, it
So
is.
I do tend to do self-care every Wednesdays and every Sundays as well. So that really does help me to balance and, break down the week a bit more easier. And at times I speak to friends, go out. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to go out per se, but I do tend to speak to my friends on Zoom or call them and, have good conversations, have a laugh here and there. Sometimes you just get a cheeky takeaway as well at times. Yeah,
I love it.
kind of balance. Yeah.
I did want to, before we switch up and do my segment called Who Said That, I would love to go back to your recent book from 2020. First of all, my eyes immediately, gravitated toward that cover. And I want to know how you decided to come, what it's about, a little more about what it's about, and how you came up with the book cover, because I really love that.
Thank you so much. Wow, thank you. It's actually really funny because a lot of people have been complimenting the book cover. And I can honestly say that this book cover is one of my best covers out of my 4 books. Initially, I wanted a hand. I'll just demonstrate it for you all. So I
Sure.
wanted a hand and I wanted a tree to grow out of it. That was my vision, because forward thinking is about growth. And as you can see, the hand, the tree is growing from it. But when I worked with the book cover designer that helped me do it, he had a completely different idea. And I didn't know he was going to do this. So as you can see, from the lady's mind, she's thinking ahead. And the escalator is literally going towards her thoughts. What can I do to move forwards? I need to keep going up. There's nothing behind me. I need to keep going forwards. So I knew that the book cover designer already understood the vision of the title, Forward Thinking Mindset. And I thought to myself, as I look at this book all the time, I say, this is a woman who is determined to move forward with her life, to leave the baggage of the past behind, to leave the things that she thought she couldn't do behind, and to believe that her days ahead of her are better. And I knew that just looking at the title and the book and the image, I knew that there was nothing stopping this lady. And it's not just for women, it's for men as well. This book is such a big encouragement. It has been a big encouragement to me to never look back. Even now in this pandemic, as I mentioned to you before, Candace, it's so easy to look back. It's so
It
easy.
is.
You know what? Let me go back to my comfort zone because it was comfortable. I wasn't struggling then. But what if you go back and miss a great opportunity in front of you? What if someone was just about to give you the best opportunity and you missed it because you were looking behind? And that
It's
sometimes
so
can,
good.
honestly. And I've had to learn that. And that's why I've said the power of a forward thinking mindset. There's no power in your past. Your past is there to teach you, but the power is in moving forwards with your life, taking the lessons that you've learned from your past and letting it ignite you into a beautiful future. Although we don't know the future, we know that we can enjoy the present, but you have to move forward. We will never see this day again. So we need to move forward as we transition into the 9th of January tomorrow and all the days to come and all the years to come. We can't move back. Just like the years, they keep moving forwards. We also need to move forwards. There's power in
Absolutely.
mindset.
No,
Very
that's
much.
absolutely true. No, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. And so now we're going to change up and do the segment I call Who Said That, where I'll give you a quote and a clue. And if you can tell me who said that, then I will donate a modest amount to the charity of your choice. So, do you have a charity in mind today?
CAP, Christians Against Poverty, CAP.
Wonderful. And I'll make sure to include the website for that so that other people that feel so inclined can donate as well.
Yeah.
So let me pull up the quote. So I'm very hopeful that you will get the quote. That will be really exciting. So and the quote is, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that mattered. And you only get one guess, so if you need the clue, I will give you the clue.
Ooh. Is it a man or a woman?
Okay, so it is a man, and he was an American Baptist minister and activist who became the most visible spokesperson and leader in the civil rights movement from 1955 until his assassination in 1968.
Is it Martin Luther King?
It sure is.
Yay!
Awesome. Congratulations. So
Thank
I was
you.
like, please get, yes. I'm trying. Sometimes I give quotes just like, and people don't get, but I totally understand. Like, so I'm like, but please. Yeah. So congratulations. So I will donate to your charity.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you so much.
You,
Thank you.
you are absolutely welcome. And then do you have any final words?
Yes. I just want to encourage everyone that's listening today to not give up on your dreams. No matter how difficult it is now, believe in yourself and know that you have what it takes to be what you have been destined to be. There's nothing about you that is a problem. Just learn how to work on yourself and love you. Focus on your own lane. Develop yourself as an individual. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Don't allow offense to rob your peace. Sleep well at night. Have a consistent routine every day. And above all, remember that Jesus loves you.
Oh, it's awesome. I love that. That is beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Esther Jacob of Authentic Worth, for being on Coffee Break with Candace. Come back anytime. Just have truly enjoyed your story today, your journey, your message.
Thank you so much, Candace. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.